And what happened was that a few stocks got very interesting to us. The market has been extraordinary. Sometimes it's quite investment oriented, kind of like it always you read about in the books and everything, what capital markets are supposed to do, and you study it in school and all that. And other times it's almost totally a casino, and it's a gambling parlor. And that existed to an extraordinary degree in the last couple of years, encouraged by Wall Street, because the money is in turning over stocks. I mean, people say how wonderful you've done if you bought Berkshire in 1965 or something and held it. But your broker would have starved to death. I mean, they don't make money unless people do things. And the degree to which the market got dominated by that is, here's on Oxy 1. If you'll put up the Oxy 1, that shows how we bought what became, well, we bought in 2 weeks, thereabouts, 14% of Occidental Petroleum. And you'll say, well, how can you buy 14% of a company in 2 weeks? And it's more extreme than that. Because if you look at the Occidental proxy, you'll see that the standard names, BlackRock, index funds, State Street index funds, basically, Vanguard index funds, and then one other firm, Dodge and Cox. If you take those four entities, and they're not going to buy and sell stock. They've got their own little rules. So they own 40% of the company, roughly. Those four firms, and they didn't do anything during this period. So now you're down to 60% of the Occidental Petroleum Company that's even available for sale. Well, Occidental's been around for years and years and years, big company and all kinds of things. And with 60% of the stock outstanding, I go in and tell Mark Millard, this fellow that is 30 feet away from Mearsal, and I say in the morning to him, buy 20% and take blocks or whatever it may be. And in 2 weeks, he buys 14% out of 60%. That's not investment. I mean, you're not buying from investment. I find it just incredible. You wouldn't be able to do that with Berkshire. I mean, you can't literally buy. You can say you want to buy 14% of the company. It's just going to take you a long, long time. But overwhelmingly, large companies in America, well, all of them, they became poker chips, and that enabled us in a 2-week period to buy 14% of a business that's been around for decades. And you imagine trying to buy 14% of the farms in 2 weeks in this country, or 14% of the apartment houses, or 14% of the auto dealerships, or just anything. When already 40% were locked up some other place. And then it declined very significantly a few weeks ago. You can feel it if you're around it. So when somebody asks a very good question is, why weren't you doing anything on February 20th, and why were you doing it on starting, well, in the case of Occidental, on February 28th? It's because things developed in a way, and in the case of Occidental specifically, they'd had an analyst presentation of some, I don't know whether it was a quarterly one or what it was exactly, but I read it over a weekend, and that was the weekend when the annual report came out. I read it over a weekend, and what Vicki Hollop was saying made nothing but sense. And I decided that it was a good place to put Berkshire's money. And then I found out in the ensuing 2 weeks, it was there in black and white. There was nothing mysterious about it. But Vicki was saying what the company had gone through and where it was now and what they plan to do with the money. And she'll do what she says. She doesn't know the price of oil next year. Nobody does. But we decided it made sense. And 2 weeks later, we had 14% of the company. And we also already had a preferred stock and warrants. And the story of the preferred stock is we paid $10 billion. Preferred stock and warrants, we paid $10 billion for it. And at the end of the March quarter of 2020, we valued that $10 billion for our 10Q. We valued it at $5.5 billion. So we had a $4.5 billion loss, and it would have, the world changed. Oil sold for minus $37 a barrel one day, and now it's quite apparent, I think, that we're very happy. We should be very happy that we can produce 11 million barrels a day or something of the sort in the United States rather than